Hello, my name is Campos. I am a PhD candidate from Costa Rica and I will summarize the working paper written with Carlos Rodríguez-Lluesma, my thesis director. It is titled Authentic Learning by the Case Method in Customized Executive Programs in Latin America. We welcome your feedback and suggestions in advance. Historically, the CASE method has been the most widespread teaching learning vehicle in business schools for training executives through discussion real situations in organizations. However, we don't know which behaviors enable or constrain the successful application of the CASE method in custom executive programs. Although there is ample literature regarding the CASE method in executive education, the evidence of its relationship with authentic learning is limited. The purpose of this research is to improve our understanding of which behaviors drives the transfer of analogy that authentic learning requires by choosing and delivering the CASE method in custom executive programs. Due to recent studies that link the CASE method to custom executive programs' performance, we decided to delve into the empirical evidence to understand great stories provided by informants and its empirical evidence related to authentic learning. This study attempts to respond to the following research question. In the context of custom executive programs, how should cases be chosen and delivered to achieve the transfer of analogy that authentic learning requires? There are two main types of executive programs. On the one hand, open enrollment programs, also known as free enrollment programs, and designed entirely by a business school, and participants attend multiple companies. On the other hand, customized executive programs are offered to all or part of a single company and developed throughout a co-creation process where staff, learning and development officers diagnose companies' problems and co-design the program's contents. Here, business schools usually deliver the program on their facilities. When using teaching cases during the customized program's delivery, the CASE method enables an analogical displacement between a cases and company situations where participants face fictional problem solving similar to their professional realities. Then, authentic learning explores diverse perspectives for problem solving and promotes skills in contexts that reflect real life. In this way, authentic learning is enhanced by analogies to the extent that it generates parallels between personal development and professional practice. This study chose 9 customized programs, 5 successful and the other 4 less successful, located in 6 Latin American countries. The business schools that joined the research were part of a network of institutions. To refine our criteria, we based our successful and less successful criteria analysis on assessing the main actors engaged in the design and implementation phases of the programs. The 9 customized programs were distributed as follows. From Mexico, a less successful case on the education industry, and 2 successful bank and pharmaceutical industry cases. From Colombia, a less successful case on the construction industry. From Ecuador, 2 successful finance and bank industries cases. From Peru, a less successful case of the health industry. From Brazil, a successful case of bank industry. And from Argentina, a less successful case of the petroleum industry. Duration of each interview varied between 20 and 89 minutes, with an average length of 45 minutes. We conducted 62 semi-structured interviews via Skype, which amounted to almost 47 hours of recorded footage. For each customized program, at least 6 semi-structured interviews were applied, from which 62 were selected and then grouped into 9 case studies. In each case study, the aim was for half of the business school participants, while the other half reflected on the company. In the end, the 9 case studies totaled 504 pages, with an average of 56 pages per case study. The data analysis began with reviewing the interviews, which we compared using the 2-cycle coding technique, resulting in 41 codes. We use Atlas T8.3 for OS, a particular program for mixed qualitative analysis. Afterward, we prepare frequency tables and graphs in order to know the rationale for the codes throughout the case studies and to be able to identify the variables that represented a significant pattern of recurrence. Our data analysis defines two stages that explain the successful and less successful selection and delivery of relevant cases. The first phase is choosing the cases that enable analogies according to the type of business issues. Therefore, this first phase is the search for existing cases that address, in an analogical manner, the situation that the organization is experiencing. The second phase is delivering the case method narrative to display the analogies of the case. The narrative is the professor's dynamic during the plenary discussion of the case to facilitate the analogical process, show the participants' subjective interpretation, and accelerate their authentic learning. Now, we will explain each of the two stages, contrasting successful with less successful custom executive programs. Most of the customized programs design problems were due to inappropriate teaching case selection. The lack of case relevance in some programs resulted from the business school offering cases already prepared. Instead, choosing cases that enable analogies produces many explanations of how the case method activates authentic executive learning in customized problems. As a result, the most compelling cases apply to the current and future scenarios of the company in two ways. First, a business case, from its origins, is a practical set of facts from where a problem arises, which the executive has to analyze to make decisions, thereby distinguishing old and already known situations from new, unknown ones. Authentic learning suggests that a teaching case can provoke an intense encounter with the reality, particularly among people who have the basic knowledge they obtained through their professional practice and can induce particular situations. Second, the cases chosen for the customized programs are learning resources, where the company demonstrates a practical and specific knowledge of its problems and communicates throughout technical terminology with the business school, which has an abstract or tacit knowledge of these problems. Business cases contain relevant and irrelevant information, and this combination of data is essential for the executive to learn to distinguish between valuable and non-valuable information. To choose the most relevant cases that fit the company's needs, the business school must identify the problem they are facing and make a precise diagnosis, which serves as the basis for designing and training solutions and including the most relevant cases despite their apparent irrelevance. Our research confirmed that the case method narrative is a pillar of authentic executive learning relevance and the customized program success. There are two main reasons. First, there are numerous interactions between agents in the delivery, while various resources and instruments of varying complexity complement and integrate. One of these resources is the set of cases for teaching business insights, to the extent that they have sufficient relevant facts and varying levels of difficulty to enrich and inspire a discussion. During the professor's narrative, the case method complements the company and the case situation to link both realities in executives' minds. The same teaching case can mean different things to them without corrupting the faculty member's narrative. This varied interpretation results from the professional trajectories, which are different, and consequently the reformulation of mental schemes changes according to each individual. Second, while contexts become more complex, the professor's analytical and detailed questions become more critical on contrasting scenarios to identify threshold concepts and more relevant nuances. An example of this is when a case's problem is similar to that of the company or sector. Varying in applying this context by providing examples and diverse cases increases the possibility of grasping new concepts more quickly. Then, authentic learning set implicit rules of interpretation of an analogy based primarily on the relationships between professional reality and business. This relevant context augmented motivation for learning, making it possible to work on new concepts. The case method has been the prevailing method of teaching business for over 100 years. While it has been integrated into certain business schools as an authentic learning process, in others, it has been seen simply as a vehicle for learning. Thus, both executives and professors must not see the case method as an inert object, but as a catalyst to energize knowledge within and outside the classroom sessions. This study of 9 customized executive programs in 6 Latin American countries suggests that the case method's effectiveness does not depend only on the interactions of the executives in the customized programs, but also on the choice of the cases and the learning dynamics that promote the use of analogies. Our results can be encapsulated into 2 stages that we consider critical for a program's success: choosing the cases that enable analogies according to the business issues, and deftly delivering the case method narrative to display the cases analogies.
Thank you for your attention. Please feel free to reach us via email or this session chat. Goodbye and see you in Costa Rica. Pura vida.